All right, so we have, I believe it's 17-inch or 17 to 20-inch scroll saw here. So you have the on-off switch. You also have the speed control switch. So if you wanted to slow it down and make a slower cut, depending on what type of material you're cutting, or you can speed it up. Right? You have the blade tension right here. So basically, what this controls is either left or right. You know, there's a lot of play in this blade. You want to make sure there's tension on here, so that way when you're cutting, it doesn't go down through the piece and actually cut into the table itself. There's also the blower hose. Basically what this does is there's a little pump in here, so when this arm goes up and down, it forces air through here that allows blowing the sawdust off your workpiece itself. So like this is more for detailed, intricate work, you know, very tight circles and cuts and everything. So the biggest thing that I'll have to say, when you're using this, you need equal pressure. So equal pressure on either side of your workpiece. So if you just have one hand here, what's gonna happen is it's gonna flap around like this and make a whole bunch of noise. So you're gonna have to have pressure on one side of the blade and pressure on the other side of the blade when you're pushing and twisting it. So that way it's flat against the table and it's not bouncing around on you. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a cut. I'll make a cut straight across, cut it in two. I'll cut off the end first because this is just a piece I broke off just for demonstrational purposes. All right, so I'll cut the end piece off and I'll go hand on either side, and then I'll do some very tight curves and corners. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. Notice when I get to the end, I slow down, all right, because there's no splitter or anything preventing this blade from getting pinched. So you slow down, that way, all of a sudden when that blade and there's nothing else there to cut, I don't want to have that sudden jerk while I'm putting pressure, because you're actually pushing into the blade. You have to allow for it to cut. If you try to force it and go really fast and everything, chances are you're going to end up snapping the blade, or it's going to break off and stick into your workpiece, or it'll crumple and it'll bend up and it'll look like a zigzag pattern. So a lot of stuff, especially when you're using tools, you have to be patient. You have to know how to use them. You have to know how to use them properly, and you use them safely. Sometimes, you know, when I was a young man, all I wanted to do is like, oh, let's just do this really fast and be hard and tough on stuff and just get it done. You know, with some tools, yeah, you can do that. But something that moves this fast and has a sharp blade on it, it's not good practice to actually just try to rush through it in that, because you can get injured. So it's also from start to finish, it's the same thing with a bandsaw. You're responsible for this machine. All right, you're responsible for this machine. So start to finish, the only thing you should care about, anything, you should be focused on what that blade is cutting, so it's not cutting through your fingers or cutting through anything that you do not want it to cut through. So now what I'm going to do, all right, I'll cut the piece in half, hands on either side of the blade, make sure I have equal pressure. And then also what I'll do is I'll do some tight corners in that, so I can show you how big of a curve you can do with this machine. All right, and I'm gonna pause right there because I see some people typing into the chat. I can see you, but I can't. All right, there will be a video uploaded to YouTube. So the comment was made. I know some people are having issues with their Chromebook and that. I know it's a new day and age with digital learning. I'm recording this on my phone as well, so you'll be able to hear and rewatch the video if you didn't get it the first time of me explaining how to use this machine here in mine, or I should say in our workspace, not mine. Yeah, I don't own it. It's in our workspace. So yeah, just trying to help you out and make the best of, you know, the crazy times. All right, and I wait for all motion to stop. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a Sharpie, a bigger Sharpie. All right, I will actually do some very tight curves in that. So I'll just go and just make some random shape or whatsoever. So if you look at this with my Sharpie, all right, that's some pretty tight curves. All right, so I'm actually gonna cut this shape out using the scroll saw. I'm not going to go too fast, and I'm not going to go so slow that, you know, it takes forever. Now, granted, when you first start cutting tight corners and that, you're going to have to take your time. I've been using this for years, so I'm very good at it. So don't be discouraged if I make stuff look easy. I've been doing this for a while. But with practice, you can become as good as what I am with machines as well. Now, one thing I would like to point out, if you saw me when using my hands and moving around, you saw me go like this and I stepped off to the side. Basically what I was doing is preventing my fingers from being in the path of the blade or getting too close to the guard, but I always had equal pressure. So you saw my hand here, and I switched, put one here, put one here, but I made sure anytime I'm pushing forward, I make sure my fingers aren't right in direct path of that blade. So if you look at this, it looks kind of like a puzzle piece. So, ta-da, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. I know, it's amazing, right? Sad thing is, I'm probably just gonna throw this piece away.